shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Thank you.
Okay, Secretary, based on the findings and the information that was provided to the PAC, we have realized that there are two different form of contracts that has been issued. One is under the PDIC or the Silver Book contract, and the other one is the traditional contract that is issued by the Department of Works. We would like you to clarify to the Public Accounts Committee which projects are qualified under the PDIC or the Silver Book format, and which one is under the traditional contract that is issued by the Department of Works.
Thank you, Chairman, and esteemed committee members. I want to thank my staff who are here to witness the inquiry. Department of Works is a technical department. We adopt the best engineering practice across the world. There is no contract issued by Works Department. It's a standard FIDIC conditions of contract, whether it's a red book, silver book, yellow book. It's an engineering procurement conditions of contract right across the world. And that is the best practice we adopt. So what we use, what you call design and build is a silver book model. The red book is the BOQ contract, schedule of rates contract. It's a red book under the FIDIC conditions of contract as well. So we adopt all the FIDIC conditions of contract.
Secretary, good morning, gentlemen, and if there's any lady around here, or our contractors who are here.
Sorry, this is just to show you. This is what you are referring to. This is the silver book, FIDIC conditions of contract. This is the red book, the schedule of rates contract. And this is the yellow book, the design and build contract. So we adopt all our conditions of contract based on this best practice.
Thank you, Secretary. That's very good that you have brought those books along. I think it is also important that we all know that you're in compliance of the FIDIC requirements. And so my questions will be around that as well. My question number one is with regards to our contractors. I say our contractors because they do contract for Papua New Guinea. We know that FIDIC has been in existence for over 50 years. If you go back and check their history, like the consultants who do consultancy work for Teddy Mines, for the fisheries, and for forest. What's the name of the consultants at forest? So the FIDIC has been in existence for just over 50 years now. And so they provide consultancy advice for a lot of projects, not in Papua New Guinea only, but right throughout the world with the experiences that they have. My question to you, Secretary, is since FIDIC has been used as a stepping stone, a goalpost for us to start from, how many of our contractors are in compliance to the FIDIC standards? And when I say to the FIDIC standards, I mean, have you trained our contractors to the FIDIC standards, number one? Have they attended any contract courses in terms of FIDIC, understanding the FIDIC principles? Do they practice the business practice courses of FIDIC, the value courses, and other training opportunities that FIDIC provided. Do our contractors comply to what I've just mentioned, to the 6 points that I've pointed out? Are they FIDIC certified contractors? Thank you.
Thank you, committee member, for that very important question. Procurement matters relies with the National Procurement Commission. The contractors are private companies. They establish under IPAs. The regulations of the business is not under Department of Works. We look after the performance in terms of contracting. So we only measure the performances. But in place of FIDIC training, we've allowed for our contracts to provide training for our staff. We've sent most of our engineers to attend training that will also guide our contractor. And since taking office, we've established contractor development policy within, it's part of our department, as part of our institutional reform. And so we've now taken on board how to train our current contractors to be FIDIC certified. As it is now, they're not FIDIC certified.
Problem.
Yes, so they're not FIDIC certified because that goes back to NEC decision 4195.
I'll stop you there. I'll stop you there. Right at the onset, the question by the chairman has specifically asked that. And I'm actually very surprised. I'm actually very surprised that 5 years down the line and our contractors are not FIDIC certified. You cannot be using FIDIC standards if your contractors are not FIDIC certified. We should just stop all the contractors now and get them to be FIDIC certified. I have the Engineers Institute rep here, PNG rep here. My brother Benedict is seated at the back there. And he will attest with me that you cannot run a project. If you're using the FIDIC standard, you cannot run a project if you're not certified. I was, for a short while, Minister for Forest, and no logs leave the country without inspection by that time our consultant, who SGS. Nothing goes out. And if your log goes out, they'll ban it because you're not complying to SGS standards. They're international standards that we comply to. And FIDIC is an international standard that we comply to. And if you're not complying to FIDIC standards and you're using FIDIC as a tool or as a starting point, then I'm a very concerned PAC member seated before you, Secretary. And so may I ask, since you have mentioned that none of them is FIDIC certified, may I ask that you get them to comply to that, please?
And that is the training program we've started, the Contractor Capacity Development Program. There's a lot of issues relating to contractor capacity building in this country, and Department of Works alone cannot fix it. It has to be within Commerce and Industry Act. They legislated under the classification of contractors, and then they provided support. So Department of Works uses the contractor that is classified through the industry unit under Commerce and Industry. So that is something that is need to be done the government-wide. We can't do it within Department of Works only. So we got to be looking at bipartisan approach where the policy needs to be fixed. Yeah. And then we can get the training. And the other thing is the training institution is not available in country. We need to bring the training in country. And we need to establish institutions that will have the certified programs in country to teach that, even in universities. So then it's easily available for contractors. It's very expensive to send our contractors overseas to also, to undergo the studies.
Secretary, I do agree with you on that. I totally agree with you. Chairman of the board is seated at the back of you. Would you also agree with me that we didn't put that in place before getting into the arrangements of Connect PNG. If that is a paramount important fact that we need to get correct, no wonder the PAC report presented to us this morning has got a lot of flaws in the inquiry when we went down to the ground. And the next question that will come to you is about the compliance to the standards of design, compliance to the standard of workmanship, and compliance to not only workmanship but the certification of man personnel on site, because that is part of the FIDIC requirements.
Sorry, Chairman and esteemed members. I'm also the president of the Institute of Engineers here in country. And that is something that we are upholding in our engineers as a code of conduct and practice. Training a company is actually training engineers that will have to be certified. And that is what we are going through, engineers that should be registered through the competency-based assessment process, and making sure they comply with all these conditions of contract, including the FIDIC training programs. So that is something that we are working through institution now to institute across all our engineers, including contractors engineers. And many of them has come into submitting their competency-based assessments in complying to those standards. So that is currently being implemented. Many of our engineers are working in it, with including training of the contractors. What you see, the traditional form of contract that DoWH has been using, the Red Book, is a FIDIC conditions of contract, which our small contractors are submitting the works within 10 million kina, 15 million kina at the threshold level, where they can implement, so they can manage within that amount of work. So that has been the case traditionally that we have been implementing, but that's a FIDIC form of contract as well, which is a Red Book schedule of rate contract. So if we stop all the contracts, no work can be done. But we have to work as a process to train, institute it through the institutions and help them to grow, and so that we can implement the government policy, government programs across the country.
Secretary, what is the difference between the FIDIC Red Book and the Silver Book?
The FIDIC Red Book is a schedule of rate contract. That's a difference. The Silver Book is a design and construct.
What's the first one again?
It's a schedule of rate contract, BOQ contract.
Okay, what does that mean?
It means that the contractor will, the client designs and provide the quantities, and then they bid.
Right.
The schedule of, the EPC is a lump sum contract.
Right.
Yes.
So with the Silver Book, which is the FIDIC standard that has been implemented in the Connect PNG program, correct? Not the Red Book? Both, okay.
Both model of contracts are being used. EPCs, there's work that is required for EPC contract, and there is a schedule of rate contracts used on specific contracts as well. So like Bautama to Imila is using Red Book. It's a maintenance contract, schedule of rate. Then from Imila to Marukuna is a EPC book, design and build. So there are two different model of contract.
Why the difference in when do you determine what should be used where?
One is a determined scope, which existing road, it's a maintenance work.
Yes.
It's only just maintenance. One is a fully reconstruction work.
Right.
And it's a big lump sum contract, big amount of work. So we utilize EPC contract because the client doesn't have a design.
So when the client doesn't have a design, does the client not want to do the design?
The client do not have the capacity to do the design. We leave it out to the private firms to do the design. And this is a package. The contractor has the capacity to design, and they build. Instead of you getting a consultant to do the design first and then construct. So you reduce the project delivery time frame.
And the amount is
It's design plus construction.
Yes. Do you have the figure from the outset before the invitation is made or tender?
As engineers, we do engineers estimate as a control budget, so we can assess when the bidders submit their bid.
And
yes.
how do they bid? Do you advertise?
Correct. Through public procurement.
So this list of roads that we went through earlier this morning, is that an exhaustive list of Connect PNG roads?
What do you mean by that?
16 roads were shown, given to the 14 roads were given to the PAC to inspect, and this morning we had a summary of each of them.
No, it's not. The report that I sent it to the chairman was full list of works. You only chose 13 to inspect.
Right. So the full list is how many roads in this country?
We have 13,700 kilometers of national highways, 21,000 subnational roads across the country.
How did you determine 16,000 kilometers as a projected target?
That's under economic transport economic studies undertaken by Department of Transport. That's under the PNG Strategic Development Plan and National Transport Strategy.
Okay. Before I continue, yesterday I asked for copies of minutes of meetings of the board. Do you have them here this morning?
The CEO Road Fund is here, and the chairman is here. Yes.
Thank you. Can you hand that up to the committee? Thank you very much, Chairman. Thank you, Secretary. I want to also ask now for a copy of all the payments under the Connect PNG program from day one. All the contracts that have been listed and all the payments, every single one of them.
We
Can
can
you
ask the
produce that?
we can ask the committee to put it in writing, and we'll finish those reports.
No, I'm asking for it now. You need to deliver
Not
it.
now because we don't have it now.
Okay. Can you ask your officers to compile it and deliver it within the next 2 weeks?
So
So they'll be delivered up together with a confirmation of account opening on or before 16th of February. Is that reasonable?
sure.
Thank you very much, Secretary.
Secretary, if I may, on the FIDIC arrangements that you have, the silver book, you explained the difference between the silver book and the red book. I think as lay people who are not engineers, we need to know that as well. But I hear that you do have capacity issues in terms of workmanship, engineers, personnel in Department of Works, and for that purpose you have gone for the FIDIC arrangements in that the roads were designed by the contractor and the contractor also builds the road. Would it be proper that you separate the design works to an independent body to design the roads, and construction is done by the contractor, so that you can have the designer of that contract become the inspector of the contract? Because I just see there is, when you have a person designing the road and then you also get him to construct the road, that means he will have to provide his inspectors also to inspect the road. Would that be correct?
Not necessarily. We have a project management in place where we assign engineers and project management officers who are on site managing and supervising the road. The designs are submitted to our design office. We have engineers who scrutinize the designs according to our design standards, and we approve. So that process is managed by Department of Works. The contractor cannot just construct. It's a process that the initial 6 months is given to the contractor to do the design, and we supervise the designs as well. So the designs are submitted to our design office. Our engineers review the designs. We give approval before they can commence construction. So the commencement notice are only issued when the designs are satisfied.
Okay, when your inspectors and engineers get out there to supervise the project, with the construction company, the reports are sent back to you or to your office for compliance purpose. Would you have those reports available with you?
Yes, we have the monthly reports for each of the projects available.
May I ask kindly that some of those reports be furnished to us so we can compare our investigation done with your reports, since we have provided the reports up there, and you can see there's non-compliance of in certain areas of the project, and it would be good that we compare the report furnished to your office in comparison with our investigations as well.
Yes, so we can do that. In relation to the presentation, I've seen there's some inconsistencies in the presentation because there's some incorrect contract information and the assessments on the reports that being presented. So we can correct that as well because there's some misinformation on the contract data that has been presented in your report. So we can provide that as well.
You have something? Secretary, just very quickly, for a layman person like me, would you be able to demonstrate to us, if you have available, the layers of road construction up to ceiling?
I don't know, you have a whiteboard here so I can lecture. But in layers of the pavement structure is made from subgrade, which is the existing surface. From the subgrade, you carry out a CBR test to confirm whether the subgrade is strong enough to carry the load of the traffic. If it is not enough, then we have to do the replacement. That's when we have to put a capping layer. After the capping layer, then you put up a sub-base material, which is an engineered structured material. It's cut from a crusher. It's not just carried from a gravel, so it's an engineered material. We get it from a crusher sub-base, and then you put up a base course, then you put up the surfacing, which is whether bitumen seal, double coat seal or asphalt or concrete is different based on the designs. So the design is structured based on engineered design and investigations. But more or less you have almost 5 layers of pavement.
Yes. Do you have your engineers on site who make certain that the approved materials are used before they are laid?
Yes, that is why we carry out our QA/QC tests across the country. Our labs are accredited with NIST standards. So we have engineering labs right across the country from the department, from each of the 4 regions, including some provincial offices. Yes.
With the use of asphalt, how much of contract has used asphalt so far?
Mostly the city roads. Only Lae-Finchafen currently. The one that you have visited, Lae-Finchafen and Mount Hagen. City road is current and Tokua to Kokopo. They are designed for the asphalt pavement, but rest of the roads are bitumen double seal coat.
With the issues that we're facing at the moment, right throughout the country, unprecedented rains, and issues of climate change effect that is affecting our roads, and not only roads but all infrastructure in the country. And just yesterday, as I was talking to senior member for Abao, Honorable Dr. Marat, he mentioned of one of the roads that was washed away very recently when he was driving past. He saw the effect of climate change. And my question would be, how much involvement has climate change has in connection to the designs that we have today with Department of Works and the contractors?
Thank you, committee member. That's a very good question. Department of Works, since the establishment of Climate Change Development Authority, has been one of our key stakeholders. We even went ahead to establish a branch for social and the environmental safeguard, and we have an environmental branch unit for climate change officers. And now we have already developed climate resilient infrastructure standards and guidelines, and we have adopted the designs. What you see in our bitumens, we have bitumen class 170 and bitumen class 320, which is used in asphalt. So there are 2 different codes. So we are doing a revision on the standards to adopt the current climate resilient specification. As we speak, we have ADB consultants now reviewing our pavement design manual and our highway maintenance manual. As we speak, it's going on. So we should conclude by updating our standards to be climate resilient. Yes.
I asked this question. Deputy Chairman, I asked this question because it is very important. It is very important that FIDIC is now has already adapted the climate resilience program. into its road construction. And if we do not, our contractors, if you're sitting here and you're listening, you need to get yourself updated with the FIDIC standards and the climate change standards when it comes to construction of our roads. If you are not, then the roads that you are building today will fail tomorrow.
Okay, Secretary, if I could just jump in at this juncture. The Environment Act prescribes specifically Connect PNG program, Connect PNG roads as level 2, level 3 roads. And so in the process of procurement, all these contracts you've listed under the program, are they EIA certified?
Correct. We have permit applications with the Environmental Act 2000 amended. We always get, it's a category A and category B works. And we always get a permit from environmental SEPA. So those categories that we are doing, big reconstructions that require clear filling and all that we could have the permit. Otherwise, there's only for minor maintenance, there's no permit required.
Would you be so kind to,
for existing roads?
when you finish the contract copies, would you be so kind to just attach those copies as well?
Sure. We'll give those reports.
I'll just stop at this point. I see there's a gentleman in the back whispering to yourself, and he must be annoyed. So if we can have him sworn in, and when opportunity arises, we can be fair to him to express his views. Thank you. If you can just state your name and your designation under, I understand, works.
Thank you. Firstly, my name is John Kayo. I'm the principal consultant of the Halbe Consultants Limited, managing and supervising most of the EPC Silver Book projects.
Thank you. So you repeat after me.
I.
You state your name. Oh, sorry.
I, John Kayo.
Yes. Swear on oath.
The evidence I shall give on this explanation shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, based on knowledge, experience, and best practice. Thank you. So help me God.
This is a serious oath you're taking. Please do not make a mocker of our oath. You just did. That I take serious issue with. Well, it doesn't say truth, and you didn't say truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. You said something other than that, and that is very, very bad. As a senior officer, I must warn you. You are before the Public Accounts Committee. This is not a committee should not be made a mocker of. We're talking about billions of kina of the people's money. Your cheek is not welcome in this committee. Thank you. You were saying earlier in relation to the environment certifications, would you be so kind to assist the committee to understand the standards required?
Thank you, Deputy Chair. Well, I'm given the opportunity, Chairman, and esteemed PAC committee members. Yes, all the projects, according to what we know, we normally manage the EIA environmental assessments. And at the moment, the reports are ready for the big, I'm talking for the big silver books. But when we were talking about the, I think, the other question was asked with regards to EPC contracts. The EPC contracts are quite big contracts. So most of the silver books are applied on big contracts where the money is big, more or less like more than 100 million kinas. You apply those big contracts. And that is where you also bring big experienced contractors who are knowledgeable on FIDIC, and they have done similar design and construct work. So they are bringing experience to partner with the client. As a result, the continuum of work, especially when you are doing some of this reconstruction work, the the gravel extraction, for instance, it will go to more than 100,000 cubic meters. And that is where the SEPA requires an environmental permit. So the implementing agency, for instance, in this case, Department of Works, is required to do an assessment, environmental assessment, and submit a permit. At the stage Lae-Finchafen, they have a permit. Monaghan Four Lane, they have a permit. For other EPC contracts, they have the reports, but they are in the process of the permit. Thank you, sir.
So, with these contracts under the Connect PNG program, all bearing certification of SEPA?
Yes, they should, especially those big ones are under the EPC Silver Book.
Would you be so kind, if I may ask, on behalf of the committee, to assist, when you assist the compilation of the documents, attach those as well, just for completeness?
Yes, we will support Department of Works to provide.
Thank you very much.
Ensure that correct documents are submitted.
Thank you, sir.
I'll go back to the Secretary again. Secretary Works. Secretary Works, in our midst, we have a very qualified engineer who sits in the Institute of Engineers of Papua New Guinea, of which you are the president. How much involvement is the office? Has the office been invited to be part of the board, number one, the Connect PNG board, number one. Number two, the Institute of Engineers, PNG, who are a very qualified body, have they been given the opportunity to look at the designs of the road as an independent body, other than Works doing the same thing? Have we given the Institute of Engineers the opportunity to participate in our construction, in our development, in our expansion of infrastructure in our country? Papua New Guinea is going through a very important phase of development. We want to be at the forefront like other countries, but at the same time, we have a very powerful body that is seated amongst us now, and who have been in existence since Adam was born, and we, I think, haven't used them in that capacity to support us and work with us in the development of our infrastructure in the country. What do you say to that?
Thank you, sir. It's getting excited when you talk about engineering, because that's where I really love doing it. As the president of the Institute of Engineers, the PNG Act, what you call Professional Engineers Registration Act, which governs the ethics and conduct of engineers, has no oversight on the design work. Unless there is an audit process where they become as an adjudicator, they are part of the contract. In the adjudication arbitration process, when there is an issue in the contract, then IPNG comes in as an arbitrator and as an adjudicator in the process, but not at the construction phase or even in a design phase, unless there is a audit requirement, and the auditors will write to them to request IPNG to come in and provide a third-party assessment, but not during the construction or even implementation of the project. That's not part of the mandate. And the Minister for Works and Highways has oversight role on the PERA Act. So that is how the involvement of the institution is. And since taking office, we've made an amendment to now have our capacity established right across the region, so that we can support government in terms of conducting engineers' ethics and conduct in practice. So there is a amendment currently before the FLC for the amendment of the Engineers Act. So that will help us to now have a oversight role in terms of trying to manage our engineers, because our role as IPNG is the engineers, not the work. That's to ensure that the engineers conduct their work in compliance to the standards. Yes.
Secretary, thank you. So I want to draw your attention to that road, the physical road. It bothers me because the committee came back with. Can we go back to the slide, so it just makes this conversation a bit more relatable. While the slide is being put up, the top left, the pink in the top left frame, the contract that was executed was relating to the pink stretch of that marking, which is 100 kilometers along the coast. The inspection team that went up found that the road that has been built, pilot track, is looks different. Can you explain to us how that eventuates?
Thank you, Deputy Chair and the committee members. That project has been one of our key projects. We wanted to connect from to the coast. It was changed by a political decision to bring the contract into the mountains. Initially, I was, at the time, I designed, under Mr. Were, I was the Affairs Design Services. And we did a preliminary assessments on this route. And we selected the route to go on the coast from Bukawa alignment to Laputa and then to Pindiu. This was changed under a political direction to go from Hopua up into Burum Kuat and then to Pindiu. That's why we have to change the scope from a class 3 road to a pilot track, because the mountain, as you design the road according to our design standard, you can't go above 16% climb. That's beyond the absolute maximum. So we have to reduce it to a pilot track. We can't get a big truck up there. So we design for big trucks. We don't design for four-wheel drives. So that is why we have to downgrade it to a pilot track.
So the contract, this is allow for variation of
It's a lump sum contract, but it's a change of scope within the same cost. So you have to build it within 286 without any variation increase, but a change of scope.
So that's how many kilometers?
That's 100 kilometers.
And the 100 kilometers have been applied to that green sketch?
No. That 100 kilometers is for the down on the Buka on the coastal side.
The original
yes,
contract.
the original contract, because the lump sum contract cannot have a variation. We have to limit it to 100 kilometers.
Is the road complete?
Not yet.
Is the what's the total sum of that contract?
286, according to the report that you presented and to what we have presented to you.
Yes. So 286 million has been applied to this project,
Correct.
and the road is not complete.
Not yet.
How much more to go? Distance before the two green lines are connected.
What we paid so far in terms of the specifics,
Yes.
we paid them 55 million.
Okay.
Outstanding payments yet to pay is 158. The balance of the contract is 47.5 million kina. Balance of the contract. Let me just get to the specifics on the details of the project. This project, from what we have, sorry, Deputy Chair, from Lae-Finchafen Road, the physical highway, the total physical progress to date on what we have constructed so far. What we have contracted so far is 40.48% of that 100 kilometers. So you would say it's around 40 kilometers done so far.
Also 60 kilometers yet to
Yet to go. But we are working from both sides.
Can you help me understand?
That's on Lae approach
From that side.
and then from Finchafen approach. So the contractor has split his team and they're working on both ends.
Yes.
Mm.
Can you just help us understand why yielding to, you say, political redirection to change the road? How do you reconcile that with contract?
What we managed at the time is that the current member for Finchafen wanted to build a road on the towards the upstream end. So when the contract was awarded, that was the request that came in for us to administer. So in that regard, because there was a realignment on his priorities in the district. So we have to just change the scope, but have to within the contract limit, so there is no variation.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right. This work is still continuing?
correct. But because of the payments, outstanding payments, they've stopped work.
Okay. Do you plan on paying the outstanding?
Yes, yes. It's part of the payment processes, some of those things.
It's a
that we
nice
discussed.
show. It actually gives you a very bad reflection, Secretary.
Correct.
You know, people will not understand the intricacies of your, or the difficulties or challenges of your cash flow. Will say something other than
And at the same time, the terrain is very challenging.
Yes.
The contractor will exhaust all the contract quantities trying to just punch through the mountain. So, and that is something that has been also an impediment for contractor to punch the road up that mountain.
Yes, I think the members of the committee will attest to that themselves with the team. So you will don't need to convince them. They are very well convinced. Help me understand the workings of the very technical department you run. You have the works managers from each of the provinces, correct, or region? Region or
Provinces.
provinces? So in those provinces where the projects are implemented, what is the role of the works manager?
Works manager is basically the delegate of secretary in the province,
Right.
and he oversees all the assets of the department, both human resource and all the implementation projects. So it's not just a project management officer. He also oversees on all administrative processes in the province.
So, and I also notice each of the contracts have project management units or management teams separately, subcontracted. What's the arrangement? How do they get paid?
So the project management consultants are paid out of the project cost of each of the projects, the funding that we receive from allocation from government. Now that is part of our capacity, because you see, in example, Morobe province, we have almost 10 districts, and projects are right across each of the 10 districts, and you only have 2 project engineers under our structure to supervise projects in all of the 10 districts. We have capacity issues to send 2 engineers to assess all the work. So we need capacity support from project management consultants to counter support our staff.
You have contract value, enormous 100 million kina contracts to carve out. You just said that the project management teams, consultants are paid from the percentage of the contract.
Not contract, but from the project allocated under the PIP,
Right.
under the funds, under the
So you don't
budget.
think that's necessary to add to the budget of Works Department to beef up your capacity to do project management?
That's part of our structure now. We're doing a restructure to now bring in engineers
Right.
to increase our capacity in the province. So that's part of the administrative process. Our challenge, we are a public service department, and TPM gives us a ceiling. We can't increase our capacity. So if we get all the engineers, there will be no admin staff. So you are working within a 1,400 staffing. So if I become an authority, I can engage so many engineers. The challenge I have is I'm a public service department. I have a staff ceiling, and I have to work within that budget. So that's where capacity issues comes in.
In the Connect PNG arrangements, there's a company intended to be established or authority intended to be set up. What's the name of that authority or the entity?
I think it was yesterday's discussion was PNG Highways Corporation.
Correct.
Yes.
Is that the corporation you would have envisaged to cater for your expanded capacity?
That corporation arrangement, as I think our predecessor, my predecessor, former secretary was explaining it too, was in terms of implementation. To like our PDP days, we used to have PDP doing most of the construction and maintenance works ourselves.
Yes.
And that was the kind of envision we wanted to park the Connect PNG program under that special purpose vehicle, so that they can carry on to implement the project, so we can support in terms of management and oversight on the program.
Has that intention been? Is it being? Has that changed in terms of implementation? Do you still see it happening into the future or not?
We want to rearrange our reforms going forward in terms of how we can utilize PDP. So we are now putting together a reform to capacitate PDP so that they can also carry out this kind of missing links projects we can support PDD just like what we did for transnational between CALF and Morobe. Our PDP teams are building it themselves. So we can manage the cost within daily arrangements. So that's the reforms that we are doing at the moment, yes.
Secretary, how much does the project management exercise cost the department?
It depends on the project, the contract cost.
In total, in your mind?
In my mind, it's like almost 30 to 20 million kina in the current Connect PNG program.
Are you able to furnish us also copies of the project management costings as well?
Correct.
Per project?
It's part of our project the monthly reports.
So give us an example. Just pick one random project, for instance, and tell us what it in your memory.
All right. So if you look at Emila to Morikuna project, this is a global contract. That is a 164 million kina contract. Albi Consultants is managing that. So their project cost is almost
164 million is the contract value.
Yeah.
Supervision costing is?
So in average annually it's 2 million kina every year on an annual cost. So if you look at a contract over 3 years times 3, so it would be like 3.5. Yeah, almost.
And what about the Magewe Phase 1?
Yeah, that's
Same.
Same. So if you apply the project cost, it's based on project length as well, because we have to insert project officers in between, because that's 100 kilometers. You can't have one engineer driving through the entire section. You got to have project, because the works are being carried out in different locations. You have the culvert works, pavement works, earthworks, so engineers has to be, and project officers has to be inserted in each of the sections. Otherwise, we compromise the quality.
And what are they going to do with Sebore?
Sebore is part of the maintenance program that's currently design approved. They already design approved for us to install a bridge from a culvert. So it's an upgrade from a bridge, from a culvert to a bridge. The issue is more to do with hydraulics, so I can have a special, maybe explanation later on this. But it's a hydraulic issue with flooding over the road, because the channel is running across parallel to the road. So we need to open up the channel to make it wide so that we control the overflooding.
And that's going to happen when?
It's already starting. They've done the bypass. So once they do the bypass, then we can build the road. The issue was with the landowners, because the bypass is going to the private land, and we need to manage the landowner. And one of those key issues that's affecting our project delivery across the country, that this almost 99% of PNG is owned by private citizens. So we got to manage the landowner issues to deliver projects. So that has been the case.
Thank you for that. Yes, you are right. You are 100% right. That land is a very, very important consideration in this even project development. So we are on the same page again on that. But when do you think this project will be delivered for Sebore? I say this because a lot of our commuters travel up and down on a daily basis. Even on the weekends, one of you who go to March Kelson on the way back might have a very serious accident. And
maybe to visit you.
Yeah, yes. But it is you have those emergency situations.
Correct.
And the rains are not doing us any justice. So it's a query I think a lot of people will want to know. And while we have the opportunity, I wanted you to express some thoughts.
Yeah, it is very unfortunate that this part of the maintenance issue that we didn't address it quickly. The issue was that we could have to come up with a proper design. Just putting up a culvert won't fix the problem. It will continue to reoccur, because the upstream end of where the current creek runs is kind of a swampy. So we got to understand how it floods from where Mirikera is, where the plantation is coming in between.
Yes.
So the design engineers were trying to do a proper hydraulics modeling to understand what the kind of high flow during the flood period, and at the same time trying to rechannel the flow. So those design decisions has to be made, and it has taken us quite a while. But now that the design has been approved, we have now worked on the bypass. So eventually, let's say by first quarter, we should see a progress.
Thank you very much, Secretary. That's very good. I think the people of Port Moresby are very happy to hear this, and also hear inquiry.
Chairman, sorry.
Can we, technical people, can you put up the Fisker highway up again, please? While they're putting it up, Secretary, you are the chief advisor to the government when it comes to highways and roads. You're looking at the
The committee members, right now as we speak, the road from Lae along the coast, during dry weather, we go to Finchafen and come back. There's existing track. Just for information.
Yeah,
That's
well,
it,
I'm
yes.
coming to you on that one, Secretary. Most of us sitting here, we come from districts. And most of us are not connected. Let me put it that way. Some of you will go to your nearest town and you walk from the nearest town to your villages. Am I correct in that? Looking at the road that you are connecting now from Lae to Finchafen, it's going through the mountains and through the jungle where you're not serving any purpose there. What is the purpose of diverting? I know you're getting political direction, but Secretary, you are the chief advisor of the government when it comes to roads and highways. Why don't you, like you look at the road now, most of the people are living along the coastal area. And if you continue to maintain that road, or if you improve that road and seal that road, it serves its purpose. People there need service, not the jungle, not the mountains. It means nothing, eh? And it's not just Finchafen Road. Many other roads that we are building now, you are just punching through the jungles. And I tell you, Papua New Guinea has a problem with maintenance. You can punch in the road through the jungle, but you go back 3 years later, what happens? Bush, it'll grow back to the way it was before. Is it a total waste? Can we reconsider that? You as a chief advisor to the government, can you advise the government to start connecting the districts, LLGs to the districts, and districts to the province before we start looking at connecting provinces to provinces? I mean, this is reality. Our people are still struggling. You know, they're the ones that are producing cacao and coffee and all kinds of produce that they're actually making money from. And the road must serve its purpose. We have to build roads through LLGs, through districts, and into the provinces, so that the produce are channeled all the way to where it's supposed to go. So my question is, why do we have to listen to political directions to just build roads into the jungle and not to where the people are supposed to get service from?
That's a very valid point and a question that you've raised. And I, as the head of the department, continues to advise government and direct how we can plan the Connect PNG. If you look at the Connect PNG program on the 16,500 kilometers, 9,000 kilometers of that is subnational, meaning provincial towns and city roads is captured in there as well. But these are not just any roads. These are priority roads, roads that make economic, revenue, roads that link to cocoa production and vanilla and coffee and all other cash crops. So that is how the economics of the Connect PNG program was designed to unleash. Just like a case in point is the transnational highway. The initial study by the Transport Department was from Malalawa, from Kaintiwa coming into Malalawa. But when we did a reassessment by the department ourselves, we've assessed that there's a lot of people living in the West Kerema side. So we made a change to realign that to come through West Kerema, through Kanabea, through Hawabango, to Koditanga. And that is when most of the population are living, the social impacts. So we've directed that to correct it. So those engineering advices are always given to ensure that we do investment that where it's supposed to be linking our people. So it's just a single project that has taken us in this situation. But we are working with the Morobe provincial government to recorrect it along the coast. So as we speak, the works has commenced from Bukawa going into Sitrum along the coastal road. So we are now working on that to correct it. Yes.
Good that you're correcting it, but if you look at it, it's a total waste of money paying, what, 100 million already? Is it? Is it
55.
right? 55?
55.
You know, it's a total waste of just digging into the mountains, and, you know, it serves no purpose. But, you know, my advice
I wish
to you...
the committee could write to the Morobe provincial government and also ask them if they can help us to correct this. You are politicians. I'm a public servant, so I'm implementing government policies.
You are, but an advice is an advice. You know,
Sure.
they're not going to penalize you just for advising them. So it's better to advise the government on the best way possible.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Secretary, one of the challenges that we encountered during the inspection is the contractors, they are not been paid on time. And that is one of the reasons why most of the projects are lagging behind today. We have the Treasury Secretary here and the Finance Secretary here. Could you please inform the committee members here how the process or the claims are done? Is it through the Department of Works or is it through the Finance Department to pay the contractors? And how open the provincial works managers involved in certifying the work and submitting the claims for the contractors?
Okay, I'll start up the explanation and I'll give it to Secretary of Finance to explain on the IFMS process, because IFMS is a very intricate system where it has to follow all the approval processes. But from the inception, the contractor is in the contract allows to submit an IPC monthly. Whether it's 1 kina or 500 kina, 1 million, they must submit a monthly IPC. So that invoice is presented to our works office, provincial works office, the PWMs. The works managers do the inspection with our engineers. They're satisfied that the quantity is claimed, what is on present on site with the measurement sheets, the inspection reports, the measurement sheet are attached as per the bill of quantities. Then they sign off, they satisfy that the work has been done. Then they process it up the rank. So that then we have the delegated officers endorsing it, making sure that they are complying to the standards. So all these checks and balances are done by the provincial office, and then they post the claims up the system, so that the IFMS system is not delegated to the provinces, is at the headquarter base. So the claims has to process here in Port Moresby. So the claim has to come back to us to raise payments and then raise checks in Port Moresby. That's when the finance department comes in for clearances. So I'll give it to Secretary of Finance to give explanation on the IFMS process.
Thank you, Chair, Deputy Chair, and all the members of the committee. Works Department does the check printing. That's their role because the funding sits under Works through the Connect PNG program. They do all the check printing, and after the check is being printed, they submit all the clearances to us, and then we start clearing the checks subject to availability of cash. And availability of cash meaning we need also not only Connect PNG, the other programs of government. We look at what are the priorities of government, health, education, all the others, and then we start clearing checks. And for Connect PNG, we've managed to clear a lot of checks as of last year. So we're carrying forward a lesser amount of checks to be cleared going forward. So that is something that we're working through, ensuring that all priorities of government, including Connect PNG, is sorted out all the time. If we start clearing works only, education will have issues, health will have issues. So that is something that we're managing through that process. And we have a what we call projection that we do every week to pay which sectors. And it comes out from our budget management committee every week. So funding is allocated, and we go through that process subject to availability of cash. Insofar as Connect PNG is concerned, most of the checks for last year cleared off. So contractors, our national contractors are the issues. They want money up front and they will do work. But for other contractors, they go ahead and do work and wait. When the money becomes available, they continue to do work. So our challenge is our national contractors. But we want to make sure that national contractors are also being given a chance to do work and build capacity. If we don't support them, we have an issue. We're not growing the economy within. So insofar as clearance, that's the process that we undertake. The cash is available at the bank.
Yeah, I see the Secretary Treasury wanting to.
Thank you, Chair, and Deputy Chair, and the members. Continuation from just yesterday, we through the budget we recognize areas and areas. So since 2024, and a separate appropriation has been set aside. We call it areas WEX, and that's about 100 million been set aside for that. Also last year as well, 100 million as well. But throughout the implementation of 2024, we've increased that up to 382.6 million. So even though we made an appropriation for 100 million, there was an urgent requirement of that, and therefore we moved within the appropriation to ensure that we found another 282 million to top it up. So almost 282% of increase, realizing the magnitude of that areas. And so we made it available last in 2024. So even though it's appropriation of 100 million, we ended up increasing that appropriation up and an expenditure to that of 382.6 million. Last year, 2025, again, 100 million was made provided for in the budget under the works areas. The payment in which we made out of that, 46 million. Again, work within the appropriation to make sure that we had funding to address those areas. So all in all, a total of 530.6 million set aside to address these areas issues. And we will continue to making sure that that element of it is made available.
And how much of that 586 million has been applied to areas so far?
All of 536 has been expended to areas.
So there should be no outstandings on the contracts.
There are areas. There's funding coming through to it. I think the point is that it's been recognized and we're approaching it. And also we have to be mindful of where we have come out from in terms of the economy itself, what we have come through from 2022, 23, 24, as we are coming out from that, from some of the external shocks and our ability to raise some of, internally. So all in all, I think what's important is that there's been recognized an availability of funding going towards that, and we work towards to see how we can manage that. At the same time, the current appropriation that is currently at the moment to address those ongoing programs.
For Secretary Finance, for all practical intent and purposes, I hear there's a lot of big numbers being thrown around the room this morning. Obviously, that's all done outside of the we established yesterday, outside of the trust fund arrangement that the Connect PNG legislation contemplates. So going forward, going forward, what do you see? Is it are you going to set up the account and then put that money in there for disbursement?
Yes, according to law, we will do that. We will move all money, and then we try to put it into the trust and manage it through that process. But that is a process that we will undertake as per the direction from the committee here.
Sorry, Secretary, Planning wanted to add a supplementary of sorts.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman, and the Deputy Chairman and the members of the committee. Just in terms of the appropriation to the Connect PNG program is where we try to meet the 5.6%. You note from the appropriation since 2022 to 2025, it's always below 65%. of the 100% actual appropriation that should have gone to the Connect PNG program as per the legislation. And that very much attributed to the constraints that we have faced. The fiscal envelope is insufficient to meet the actual requirement as per the Act. So as we spread the resource across to every other sectors, where the competitions are very, very high. Just giving you some numbers in terms of the aggregate, just for last year, just for you to understand. For Connect PNG, the total appropriation was 590 million kina. And the revised appropriation stands at about 525 million kina, less 65 million, and 65 million has been transferred. So the warrant appropriation from the reverse appropriation of 425 million is for 469 million kina. That's the warrant appropriation. So the actual expenditure stands at 413 million so out of the 590 million kina total appropriation, 413 million is the actual expenditure due to cash flow issues. So that's the issue that we have had. I think at some point in time, and one issue that we are seeing from our end, planning department, managing the CAPEX, so capital investment budget. I think it's our ability to front load. I think going forward we need to front load 100% of the appropriation for the Connect PNG. Not only Connect PNG, other critical expenditure items in the budget so that the Department of Works can continue to deliver rather than sitting for the warrants to be issued. And finance has to match the cash with the warrants. So I think that's basically the challenge that we are facing.
Secretary, the figures you referred to out of the budget is 590 million in 2025.
Correct.
And about 413 million was paid of that 590, correct?
Correct.
That's what, 80-90% serviceability?
I'll probably leave to Department of Works. Sorry, Chair, and then I just in addition to what Secretary Planning mentioned to you, since the inception of the program, we've been underfunded. If you are ensuring us to now create a trust account, we need 1 billion kina in an annual budget. That has been underfunded, and if the committee can take up that to also make recommendations to Cabinet and also to Parliament, that the government needs to honor its commitment in terms of financing, so we can have enough capacity to fund. Because what the committee picked out in terms of delayed payments is an issue that we face, because the amount of cash we have to disperse to pay the contractors are lacking. So in 2022 we received 350 million. 350 million. That's if you minus that from 1 billion kina as per the Act, that's 650 million minus. Then you have 2023 budget allocation, we got 480 million. That's from Connect PNG alone. So that's minus almost 520 million kina outstanding from that enacted amount. Then 2024 we got 600, that's balance of 400. This last year we got that 590 that Secretary Planning was mentioning. So almost we've lacked 50%, almost half of the allocations every annual year. So hence the delayed payments, as you can see from our contractors.
Well, it's related.
Our project, sorry, Deputy Chair, our project cash flow across the program is 100 million kina in a month. 100 million kina, approximately 100 million kina in a month to pay contractors across the network, across the program. And if we are getting warrants of like 20 million, 30 million kina warrants, you could expect these delays in payments. Because we are thinly spreading that funding to all projects. Like you have to pay 1 million kina to give a project cash flow for the contractor to be on site. Otherwise they'll stall the project. So, and that is as per the contract. We got to honor the contract to just continue to keep them moving. Sorry.
Sorry, we have secretaries. I hear you. So in 2022, total of 350 million kina was paid or was
warranted.
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 That was out of what? What was the?
That's out of Connect PNG.
Sorry, I mean, what was the total
out of 1 billion. So if you minus that, it's
We're doing 1 billion, but what was the total budget? What was the budget in 2022? Total sum?
350.
No, the total sum of the Section 209 appropriation bill. 20,
I think in 2022, Deputy Chair, 2022 is the year you will see when the Act came into effect. So that's the first time we saw in the budget line the Connect PNG funding. So that's the 350 is referring to.
okay, then that was...
Other budget lines are for different roads.
I'm
and
asking the
different
question because the Section 3 of the Funding Act says 5.6%. So your threshold is 5.6% of the total appropriation bill.
which is national budget, not DoW budget.
Correct, national budget.
Yes.
That's what I mean. So that you could either go 1 million or 1 billion or 5.6% of total budget.
Correct.
Right. So in 2022 was 350 million.
Yes.
In 2023,
480.
480 million.
Sorry, 450.
450.
The revised appropriation, the actual warrant we receive after the, it's 480.
480. Okay. Then 2024 is 600.
Yes.
And 2025
It's 525.
525.
That's a revised appropriation.
Of course, this is these are figures according to legislation, 5.6% and or 1 billion, whatever, rounding it off, per annum. DSIPs will be 1 billion also, 1.18 billion. That's DSIP. This is for all your 92 districts, 96 districts. See? And then you add the province PSIP. That's how much? 200 mil. So altogether, it's about 2 billion. Or if it's 1.813 plus 200 million. You have, of course, your challenges balancing the books with treasury and finances of a warrant, and cash flow. This Connect PNG is 1 billion kina to be paid to get the program running. 1 billion. So the question is it feasible to run this program or not? I mean, with the challenge with health and education, your DSIP challenges, district roads, law and order, is this a workable, is this a feasible program? I understand the opening sentence in the policy is that it is an ambitious program, correct. Question is, based on our realities, our moms and dads, our children, is this a really feasible project we should be continuing down this path? I know legislation is set out, but is it working for Papua New Guinea?
Sorry, Deputy Chair and Chairman, through you. The program design is very good. We can attest or maybe talk about the design of the program. It's the good intentions, and the design is to benefit. And that 16,000 kilometers, as we've discussed, is for those key economic roads that will unleash the economic potential. It's the ability for the government to continue to fund so that we can have good roads connecting our communities right across the country. People like the one that you visited in Telephone, they've been neglected for the last 50 years or even since Adam was born. That's what our member make mention. So as you drive up there, you would not even drive to even visit Telephone. Or even in your lifetime, you would not have gone to Telephone if that kind of program was not done. So the design of the program is very good. It's just the ability to fund it, and we could look at how we can refinance our the government arrangements and implementation of the program going forward. So as part of my management, we are working on a revision of the program from three-phase program to two-phase program, and looking at amending the contracts to allow contracts we can pay through our cash flow adjustment. So that is something that I'm doing internally to correct what we are also facing from the project front. Then we can manage it with Treasury and Planning and Finance on how they can manage the cash flow. So what's within my control, we are trying to fix.
The
Yes.
question is, yeah, agree, I hear you. Now, the difficult, initially there was a figure raised by the Good Secretary for Planning, but before him, there was ARIA's PNG Connect figure also mentioned by Secretary for Treasury. Are these independent line items in the budget and therefore different cash flow? So that new item you're dealing with, ARIA's PNG Connect, is to deal with ARIA's contract servicing, correct, specifically?
Thank you, Deputy Chair. I think the question was raised on areas. And for that particular reason, I responded to say that we had separate lines we made available in 2024
Yes,
and 2025.
yes.
And out of those two separate lines, we made appropriation of 100 million each.
Yes.
What I also told you too is that we went because of the urgency and the need for the contractors to make sure that they continue on to do the work. In 2025, in 2024, it went from an appropriation of 100. We ended up paying them 282.6. Now you're going to ask me a question: where did that other 286 come from?
Yes.
That is all within the budget,
Yes.
but we do the transfers, and these are depending on the urgencies of the matters that we try to address.
Thank you.
So for the benefit of this this inquiry, a question was raised in particular to areas.
Yes.
So that's taking point one. The other point in terms of 5.6 of the percentage of the budget, what is being made available to you is just a direct funding from the government. But government is not the only direct funding that funds all of this process. There's inclusions of the loan projects, right? There are roads that have been funded by ADB, World Bank. My two colleagues will provide that information. And taken together, how much do we get close to that? $1 billion we're talking about. I think it's important that we provide full information and how we work within that. I think also in that act, I think the Connect PNG Act, there's an opening that makes reference to said subject to the fiscal space.
Yes.
So on what we do, there is an ambition for us to deliver this, but we must always maintain that we stay within our means.
Fiscal responsibility.
Fiscal responsibility. It's very important. Very important. And that is why we sit around here and we make these choices. It's all about economic choices. What then we have to do? Of course, there will be some opportunity cost. Okay, there will not be, everybody will be happy. But at the bottom line, at the end of the day, we get project implemented, we get all people connected, and whatever that we do out from these particular investments in these very important roads, we must get an economic returns out from this. And that return in terms will go back to finance the loans that we are getting, and then we can continue to expand more on this. But I think the focus of this question was, do we have, are we addressing the areas? Of course we are doing that areas, and it's going to take a while to do it. Perhaps we look at what's the best modality should be used. Should we do that through the trust account? Put a trust account and make a trust deed that specifically says that these are for the areas to be managed? These are some of the conversations we will have, but I think it's important making sure that
Thank you.
you answer your questions over.
Thank you, Secretary. So, see, basically, in my observation, the Act compels the creation of a trust fund. That has to be the source from which contracts are to be serviced. And this is going down to the foundations of fundamentals of fiscal responsibility and the fiduciary duty. Okay, so we are on the same page. We are saying the same thing. With respect to areas, even areas will have to be settled out of that fund. So the doctrine of tracing will dictate that anything and everything emanating out of that fund belongs to the people of Papua New Guinea out of this project. So you cannot expend over, you cannot overcommit. That's the whole idea of the fund. We have not done that. This is the reason why you have areas, because probably we're writing too many contracts over and above capacity. This is where you keep your dashboard at the works and you reconcile that against actual liquidity. And so that's where APC comes in. Instead of APC, you have the fund already sitting there to service actual contracts. So you will not find yourself in a situation where you have areas being created because of this, that, and the next thing, because of cash flow. The Act was set up so that there's no area situation. But if there are area situation and we are probably overcommitting the state on contracts, then the question begs, is this program feasible considering our appetite for health, our health budget, our education needs of the country? Are these going to be, is this project going to, are these very fundamental service lines going to be compromised because of one program? It's only a question, but sir.
Chairman and Deputy Chairman, just to head on, try and explain the Department of National Planning being responsible for the development budget for the country under which Connect PNG program falls under. And just in addition to what my colleague Secretary from Treasury has mentioned, the difficulty that we have every year during the budget formulation process, the Department of Works comes with their bids, like everyone else, other sector agencies of government as well. And planning, coordinating the development budget, and the difficulty that we have is they come with 5.6% bids. And the recommendations that we get from every time at the Ministerial Economic Committee is to give them 5.6% of the appropriation. For instance, this year 30 billion kina budget, CAPEX is only about 10.8, and direct financing from government is about 7.6 billion kina. Even 5.6 billion would be too high. And every time we've gone against the Ministerial Economic Committee recommendations to give them 5.6%, for the fact that try to address some of the, we don't compromise other critical sectors of the economy. That's why you'll see that when you look at the aggregate since 2022, it's always below either billion kina or the 5.6% of the appropriation. So we're still cutting back so that we can also cater for other competing priorities of government as well, in education, in health, in law and order, and other sectors of the economy. So that's basically the challenge. The fiscal envelope dictate otherwise as to the level of appropriations that goes to Connect PNG. And I think it's for the Connect PNG for us to reprioritize as to what are the critical corridors that we should address. Everything else, we need to face it out in the course of the Connect PNG period. I think that's something that we have to.
Thank you, Secretary. Just one other question that comes to my mind is there a policy in place, or what's the guideline for choosing what road is capable of being treated under the Connect PNG program? Is there a criteria, Secretary?
All right, so thank you, Deputy Chair. That I think I mentioned briefly on your earlier question in relation to the criteria. The selection of that 16,000 kilometers came from a transport economic studies on road corridors based on the corridor development concept under the PNG development strategic plan. And then the national transport strategy was developed, and we have the medium-term transport plan number 2, now number 3. So this selection of the criteria of selecting these corridors were based out of these policy studies. And then NEC decision was made, NEC decision 50, NEC decision 50 of 2020 on the selection of those corridors, where 7 corridors were selected initially, and then the NEC decision, subsequent decisions, NEC decision 113 and 312, which increased to 14 corridors from the initial 7. So those priorities were developed based on transport studies undertook by Department of Transport, not just us. So it was a full corridor study. The selection was based on the national highways. You have national highway disconnectivity. You have Maki Highway that is between Central and Million Bay. You have a disconnection. So we did a transport study to identify route alignment to connect between Central and Maki because there's economic potential within those missing links. So the selection of those corridors was based on our national road network. Current national road network we have is 13,750 kilometers. That's based on the February gazettal of last year.
Yes.
So that national highway network is to connect between border of Indonesia in Wutung all the way to East Cape. So that's the route, almost 2,000 kilometer route from Wutung all the way to East Cape. And then you have east-west across the country from Lae all the way to Kopiago to Telefomin. So these roads were conducted in terms of how the population has been distributed, the economic potential of those sites, like resource corridors, plus where the agriculture potentials are, including connecting the special economic zones. So if I couldn't able to produce you the road network map today, but the road network map, that's how the network has been developed and planned based on those priorities. And then if you look at our policy formulation, that's our national road network strategic plan. So all our connecting road network development is based on this blueprint of road network development in the country based on our transport priorities. So that's how we've been implementing this Connect PNG program and the selection of those corridors.
Thank you. Can you, you'll be kind enough to give us copies of those NECDs you referred to?
Yes.
And also the nice, beautiful yellow
So
document.
I can pass you this right now,
Thank
and
you.
I can give you the copy of the NECDs later.
Thank you, Secretary.
Yeah.
Now, Secretary, how do roads within a province qualify for Connect PNG? Example, are there roads within the province?
Yes, there's a subnational network. That's what I was referring to. So you categorize in terms of the road network classification. That's what the Road Management Act does. So the Road Management Act of 2020 classifies the road in terms of national road, provincial road, and district road.
Yes.
So that classification identifies which roads are districts, which roads are provincial roads, which roads are national roads in terms of functionality. So that's what we call road hierarchy classification. So in terms of that classification, in terms of geometry, in terms of standard widths of the roads, we classify them according to the type of traffic and the economic activity along those corridors. So in the provinces, we have roads that are district roads and provincial roads. In the Connect PNG program, 9,000 of that has been now selected to be under the program. So what we have done so far is to work with Treasury and Planning. Now we've secured the loan financing from ADB to counterfund 4,000 kilometers of that 9,000 to be part of our program, which is to connect all those commodity roads, basically agriculture purpose roads,
Yes.
oil palm purpose roads, fisheries purpose roads, those that connect to now make an investment program like Connect PNG. That's what we've done since taking office. What my predecessor left, we take over from there, and we've improved the program. So financing has been an issue. We have a dedicated program through the loan financing arrangement. So we can able to have contractors being paid on time because GeoPNG has issues cash flow financing them. So that's what we are trying to do, including support from tax credit, as you've seen Octedi funding our program up there in Telefomin Tabubil, and from Kiunga going up, ceiling all the way to Ningrum now.
Yes.
As we speak, the ceiling has reached Ningrum for the first time. So those are financing arrangements we are working on at the moment.
Thank you. Secretary, just before you finish, under the Pukpuk Treaty, there's a lot of support being given to various sectors. One was given to defense, and there's a major investment, Australian taxpayers' money investment in the Goldie Barracks happening. How do you feel about the road that relates to that particular national infrastructure? Is that also something that qualifies to be serviced under Connect PNG?
Yeah, the last year
It's part of the
government allocated 5 million kina for Goldie Barracks Road.
Every other year it's been committed 5 million kina, nothing to show for. The potholes is like walking on Mars. The road from Laloki Junction to Goldie Barracks was a national, leading to a national asset.
National institution.
National institution, correct. Shouldn't that be important enough for the department to look into and take up?
We've worked with the Northeast District they've already formulated a contract. Contractor has carried out some maintenance. We're working to.
That's not in Northeast District.
It's
The
in
road is in Hirikwayari.
Hirikwayari. Okay, we'll correct that. Very good, very good.
And there's a confusion on the ground that my district is taking the money that is not actually being there. So, in my capacity as deputy chair of this committee, I want to understand more.
So we can discuss that with you and then look at how we can fixing it.
That would be a very good thing for those army.
You have to express your conflict of interest.
No conflict there, sir. It's a national asset. I am a national leader. And as national leaders, we have obligation to our national people. But I see an eagerness from the former Secretary for Works to highlight some issues before we
thank
progress.
you. Just to add on the comments on whether Connect PNG is feasible or not, the funding. The 5.6% came out of a thorough investigation of the conditions of the highway. There is also a report been done that says that all of our assets were in a depleted state and would cost the government 45 billion kina to rebuild. And we sat and thought about it, and we developed this 40-year strategy. Out of the 40-year strategy came the prioritization of the important highways now that is under the Connect PNG. The 5.6% is about 1 billion every year. Is in our view, in line with the growth projections of the economy. We thought that we could fix some key priority highways, the lifeline highways of the country. So we put the minimum 1 billion kina every year would build, develop, help to fix issues on Magi Highway, Hiritano, Highlands Highway, Bulminski. I think we're sitting here, seeing some major changes that's taken place over the last 4 or 5 years. From what it used to be some 20, 30 years ago, we used to fight for the funding that used to be allocated for maintenance some 10 years ago was only 30 million to run the entire network, 30,000. And you could see the build-up of maintenance backlog, rehabilitation backlog, and the country was sitting on a time bomb. It was unmanageable, so it was a deliberate intervention with the support of the government to make sure minimum guaranteed funding was always made available. And the chairman and the members, we can't go back to the old way of doing things and expecting different results. It won't work. We just go back to a depleted state. And without road accessibility, where do we go as a country? It's not possible. I think it's all about the plans are there. As you have said, in line with the funding availability, we just have to stick to the plans that have been done. I think the Road Fund Act, Road Management Fund Act, clearly stipulates the phases. The 20-year program is broken up into three phases. So if we stick to the game plan and make the funding available with strong governance on the fund management, I'm sure it's possible. We can do it. We're doing a lot of roads already, opening up new missing links, building up the existing highways to standards that are now in a better state. The work has started, and I just want us to the work must continue, and the progress that is there must be maintained. It's just management of it, management of the fund, management of the program. I think if we get these two right, nothing is impossible. We can reach the goals that are specified in the 20-year program. Thank you.
Thank you, former Secretary. Before we run out our discussions, I think we have the Mr. Joseph Sapa from the Chief Executive Office of National Procurement Commission. So could you please assist the inquiry to understand your role in the bid and the procurement process?
Thank you, Chairman and the members of the committee. The National Procurement Commission was established by an Act of Parliament in 2018. Our main roles and responsibilities is to provide support and assistance to the government through its agents or agency in terms of procuring goods, services, and works. So, in the context of Connect PNG, we work very closely with the Department of Works and Highways to support them in terms of doing the procurement, to facilitate procurement, to public tenders, and assist with the evaluation and selection of the contractors. So that's basically what we do. Yeah. Thank you, Chairman.
Basically, when a contractor is requested to provide the design and scope of the contract, what happened after that? Is that submitted to you after the WEX division have gone through the certifications, or where do you come in between that process?
In terms of procurement, we have adopted an 18 steps procurement. But to support WEX, what normally happens is for the Connect PNG program, the Department of Works requests for tender through my office to National Procurement Commission, and we assist them by way of allocating tender numbers as well as the necessary documentations. And after that, we seek for, through APC, the authority to pre-commit committee to ensure that the funding are available for the particular project. And that is when we go out to public tender. And
Which department advise you on that? Finance
on
or
APC?
Treasury?
Treasury. APC is a committee, consists of those three agencies. So they tell us of the availability of funding by way of the budget appropriation, since Connect PNG is funded by the government, and then we go out to the public tender. And each public tender takes a maximum of around 3 weeks to 4, it depends. And after that, we set up the evaluation committee. So the evaluation committee, normally 2 members of the committee are nominated through the procuring agency, which is the Department of Works, who also chairs the evaluation process. 2 members coming from National Procurement Commission, and we have 1 each from Department of Finance and 1 from the State Solicitor Office. So those are the committees that are established by the Act to progress the evaluation of the projects.
Secretary, I think we're coming more. We spent a fair bit of time on these issues, but I was going to ask about the planning, and there's a lead on from the selection of projects. Do you think there's a need for cost-benefit analysis of projects? Have you done any economic studies on the multi-billion kina projects that we are highlighting and flagging off and deploying under Connect PNG?
Yes, correct. And I would like to thank Secretary Treasury for highlighting the loan assistance and most of the funding that we receive from the big donor partners. Cost-benefit analysis, economic investment studies are being undertaken, including climate risk assessments, social impact assessments. So these studies are prerequisite for a project to be funded. So those studies are always undertaken for all these big projects, funded by loans and our PNG government funded, yes.
Oh, so you do the modeling as well on the economic return of each of the roads, correct?
Correct, yes.
Is there a summary of sheets that we can rely on for our purposes?
We can produce, as you've stated in some other documents, we can put it in writing on what you want us to produce.
Correct.
And we can provide, finish those reports that we have
yeah, well, I think it's important, imperative for the nation to be fully informed. We're not telling one side of a story. We make sure to be expository and to give the full details and justifications why certain roads are flagged. Example, that the Taubul to Tolokoma Road, for instance, is 300 million kina already expended. Of obviously component of tax credit, Go PNG funding. Be that as it may, it's PNG money, tax credit or otherwise. It's PNG money that's the developer is already going to benefit out of through clawbacks on tax benefits. So it's PNG money being spent on the front end. Question is, at what point do you project returns yielding from this road, for instance?
Over a time, for the design of our roads, 20 years design life for the pavement. So traffics are projected over 20-year period. So the economic model is based on vehicle operating cost and the value of time on transport economics and road safety savings on accidents. So those economic models are being changed, including maintenance and operational cost. So these are basic cost benefit analysis and cost impact assessments on how we can able to implement policy programs. So that has been done, but 20 years design life and operational life.
Thank you very much.
Chairman.
Chair, sorry, me walking some talk past time. I'd like to also talk about funding in so far as what we have, the SRB money stuff too. So when we talk about these things, we must be mindful of us also looking at how we can be able to support that program through that. Monies are given to all everywhere, so we need to come so that we can be able to support. And there's some roads that we do, like the Goldie to, from Laloki to Goldie, it's an existing road. And normally it'll come under PNG Road Fund to Fund. It's not Connect PNG, because it's a road that is already being built. And Connect PNG comes in only to make sure that we maintain roads that are already built. So there is another part of the program that does not sit with Connect PNG. But the Connect PNG will come through that process by law, which we have not dealt with over time. That is something that has been highlighted by the committee, which we will look into. Obviously, next year we will try to make sure that we run that process, having funds that goes through that process, and run that process through.
You meant to say this year, 16th of February.
Next year we will make sure.
16th of February you will open the
yes,
account.
we will open the trust account.
And you will put money in there.
Yes.
And you will operate it this year.
Agree. That will be done, but the funding already sits there. We can be able to move for some of the funding across to that, and that'll be operational by next year.
No, operational this year.
Depends on the process.
Secretary, I don't think you understand. You are in breach.
Yes, I know. We
yes,
will have to start
you are
working
in
on the
breach
process
already. So to at least mitigate that exposure, you will set up the account.
Definitely.
And you will put the money in there, and you will you will implement the project this year.
We will.
2026.
Definitely, that'll be done. A trust account will be open in the next 2 weeks. That'll be done.
Thank you.
Then we'll work with the department and see how best we can be able to deal with that and go by your instructions. That shall be done. Whether this year or next year, it'll be done per your instructions.
No.
This year.
Secretary. Not my instructions. It's the wish of the law. And our duty is to carry the will and intent of the law. The people of the country have willed it through these acts, not Kithiduhu. Thank you.
Chairman, just one comment from me. Deputy Chairman, you mentioned about some sub-national roads.
Yes.
Being considered as a Connect PNG, we will be taking the risk in terms of addressing the 14 corridors already.
Yeah, I think that's been clarified by the Secretary for Finance.
Yeah, agreed too, because from the way we see from planning as well as treasury in terms of resource constraint, we're already carrying just about 300 million Connect PNG areas. So it's going to take a lot on the Connect PNG program funding. If additional roads headed to the Connect PNG program for now. Coming back to your question on the, you raised the issue on the subnational roads. What we did for this year, as far as the appropriation is concerned, over the last couple of years, we have been carrying a lot of subnational roads, district roads for almost a lot of these members of parliament. And we have realized that if we go by that trend, obviously, we have to accommodate for 96 district roads. So the appetite was big. So what we did for this year with consultation Department of Works, we have decided to accommodate a program in the budget called Subnational Roads, under 50 million kina in total.
And that will be we'll leave that to Department of Works to work closely with, based on the programs that they have, they can support all the district or the sub-national roads in the country. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Chairman.
State Solicitor, you want to say something? Or make a comment?
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Chairman. I was going to add on to NPC CEO answering your question, and where does NPC starts? So I was going to make a comment that basically NPC process starts when the relevant government agency, including Department of Works, come to them to advertise. So, and then the advertisement starts, what do we call it, tender advertisement, also the advertisement to invite bids. So, and then it goes through when the applications come, they're screened to and then TEFC, which is a mini board or committee of NPC, screens the bids and then sends the recommended bidders to NPC board. And Tomirasa was asking about the civil the engineering, where they involved. They are also involved in the National Procurement Board. They are members of the NPC board. Yeah. So that's when NPC comes in. So there's limits to the threshold, they call it. So when it's over 10 million, NPC would make further recommendations to cabinet to award. But if it's within their threshold, they based on the technical evaluation committee's recommendation, they make the award.
What is the threshold of the NPC? 10 million.
Okay. Anything above that goes to cabinet. Yeah. There are also other specialist boards approved by NPC and province, including provincial tenders board. Yeah. They've got their own thresholds as well.
On their own thresholds, yeah. Chairman, if I may. Yeah. Gentlemen, excuse my ignorance. I just noted a few things from the PAC's recent trips to the various sites. I noticed number 7 and number 8, Tokua to Kokopo, 4-lane. The contract value was 221 million. Now that's the road length is 11.9 kilometers, 4-lane. 221 million kina and 11.97 kilometers. So to expound on the, the disparity of a 18 million kina per kilometer versus a 6.6 on a 4-lane.
So thank you, committee member. That's a very good question you've asked. You're looking at constructing roads in PNG is very, very challenging. Construction materials are not available in all of our provinces. So places like Eastern Britain, we got to bring in materials from Lae. So going up to Hagen is by truck, but bringing in materials from Lae is by ship. And the cost of cement and steel and asphalt, plants establishing them is very costly. So if you look at that, and then the relocation cost, like our Honorable Member for Rabaul was also, as she was reading through that particular contract, there's issues with relocation. You have water pipes, the water mains, running through Tagubar section all the way to Tokua. So our cost on the project is also to relocate these water mains, including the telecom lines plus the PNG power, so drainage pipes, and then including the 2 bridges. So you could see the cost imperatives. In Hagen, there is no bridge covered. The relocation services is not there, so that's why the cost imperatives you could see, plus the project locations. Like constructing road in Western Province in Daru, you got to get material from here in 17 mile. There is no gravel in Western Province. So the cost is like tripling the cost of you building a road here in Port Moresby compared to in Western Province. So those were that you could see the cost disparities. Yes.
Thank you, Secretary. Just for the sake of the numbers, it's good to always explain so people understand. Thank you, Secretary.
Thank you, Secretary. You've come all the way from West Sepik all the way to Escape, and you have called it Connect PNG. And I was so interested when member for Hiri Koyari kept on pushing you with the barracks up there, connecting the roads to the barracks and the Sebore bridge out there. And so you've come all the way and from West Sepik to Milimbe Escape, and you stopped there and you haven't connected the whole of PNG. So whilst you have the program called Connect PNG, what is your plans to connect the maritime districts and provinces? Because you've come and stopped and looked across to Kiriwina, waved at me and come back. So what is your plans to connect me also, to be part of Connect PNG?
Thank you so much. If you look at the MDT before, the chairman and the committee members, MDT before specifies, if you look at SPA number 2, this is the book, MDT before. SPA number 2 talks about all these transport agencies, sectors. My program is DIP 2.1. The other agencies are working on DIP 2.2 and 2.3 and 2.4. And so you can see highways is being upgraded plus airports and seaports and Cheques programs which are conducted by separate agencies of government. That's a bigger picture of government Connect PNG program. So as in my opening statement yesterday, I was saying it's a multi-sectoral and it's a multimodal. So my sister agencies of NAC are doing upgrades in airports, including through the CADI program on airstrips, upgrade with RAA, and PNG Ports is also working on ports and Cheques programs. And my department is supporting PNG Ports and Department of Transport as well on technical support in terms of design and feasibility and inspections and all that. So we are supporting at that front, but maybe I'll allow our planning secretary, because he sits at the top in looking at how the Connect PNG program and run and how he's aligning with all these others.
Yeah, thank you again, Chairman. What we're doing in Connect PNG project, high-level project steering committee, we decided to call some of the key sector agencies of government, PNG Power. We'd like to have PNG Power, national grid piggybacking on the Connect PNG road infrastructure. And we're also bringing ICT to also discuss with them. As soon as the road leads to the ports, there has to be a wharf there. So those discussions are being held at the, we haven't really advanced, but I remember we have tasked all of these respective sector agencies to come up with their plans to work closely with the Connect PNG program, so that we can be able to look at Connect PNG, not only in terms of the roads, but everything else. So that's basically where we are. We have started, again, with the financing constraints. We are unable to really look at some big programs in other transport infrastructure. So that's something that will work through the government to make sure. This year we have just kept set some funding for jetties at just about 30 million, and maritime shipping, a national civil service program at 20 million kina. So those discussions are still ongoing at this point in time. So as we progress, we will look at some big funding. And you look at Connect PNG, we're just talking about only one section or two sections of the Connect PNG highways. We're going to look at big financing, and definitely we're going to go abroad to look at some external financing to finance those big projects. And in line with what Secretary has mentioned, like we look at 590 is only direct financing from the government. Our development partners are coming in. World Bank, ADB. ADB, we just borrowed about 1 billion kina and 1 billion USD. To finance the Sustainable Highlands Highway from Lae-Finchafen to Celtic Junction, Mount Again. So those arrangements we are looking at in terms of the future financing arrangement to fund the Connect PNG program. It's not going to be easy as we think. It's going to be a massive investment program. A lot more financing is required, and from outside as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Just before we come to all towards the end of our discussions this morning. One quick question I wanted to ask was, Secretary, have you, in the last 5 years, received any court claims, court cases instituted by contractors out of Connect PNG?
From Connect PNG existing contract claims, we have not received any court claims. Our contractors have been very, very patient.
They're very happy, huh?
Not necessarily happy, but they've been very patient and understanding our government situation. Have been bearing with us. So for those initial contracts that we've left out, through those 13 ones that you've also, took time to also make visits, have not really put us on notice.
Yeah, the area's situation is actually a bit of a concern.
Correct.
Because these are contingencies that can expose the state to interest that can accrue beyond our control. There was once upon a time a 1.8 billion road construction from Bautama to Tubusereya by Atlas, the Atlas construction back in the 80s. That litigation continued into the 90s and 2000. And what was 1.9 million ended up something else. So we are talking about hundreds of millions of risk exposure to the state. So
I totally agree. For other contracts, we have litigation measures, but not necessarily the ones under Connect PNG.
Thank
but
you.
Others outside of our other programs that we have before, we have some litigation matters going through court. Yes.
All right. So thank you, highly esteemed gentlemen, the secretaries, CEOs of National Monitoring and Coordination Authority, State Solicitor, Mr. Rolpagarea, and Mr. Sapa of NPC, Secretary Works, Secretary Planning, Secretary Treasury and Finance, Mr. Kayo, and Mr. Mick. Thank you so much for your attendance these last 2 days. On behalf of the committee, I want to thank you sincerely for your cooperation and your yielding to documentation that's required of the reports. The committee wants to put forward a holistic report as much as possible in the March sitting. So with action items recommended, and I think some of those action items, thank you, Secretary Finance, to assist us with this compliance of the legislation. The respective managers of provinces who have turned up and your regional managers, I want to thank you sincerely also for your cooperation and support. We take this hearings extremely serious under Section 216 of the Constitution. The Public Accounts Committee implements, and through the Public Finance Management Act, its roles, responsibilities. Apart from its own hearings of its own volition, the Auditor General's report is also where we take lead from. But this last 2 days has been very productive, if I may say, and we continue to work together. It's in the best interest of our nation and best interest of our people to see that these projects, this program is successful. If it's implemented in the true intent and purpose of the structured legislative framework, then compliance will ensure it's really for the best interest of the project and its survival. So once again, thank you so very much for volunteering information. I think during the earlier part of this morning's discussions, I requested copies of IFMS printouts from 2020 to December, perhaps 2025, and copies of payment checks, and maybe just a complete schedule of all payments that have been to contractors and anyone connected to the Connect PNG program. So for full visibility and full appreciation of the scope, and also to have us understand also the level of areas that have been highlighted and have been managed, and how the strategy to retire those areas as well. So once again, thank you so very much, and I wish you all a wonderful rest of the week, and hopefully we can put to rest a lot of these matters of mutual interest in relation to the program. and the work that you, great work that you all do. Thank you. Chairman.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. On behalf of the PAC committee, I would like to officially announce that the inquiry is now closed. Thank you.
Chairman, if I may say something on
Yes.
behalf and yeah, Secretary of Works might want to say something, but let me on behalf of those of us who are called to attend, we thank you for the opportunity, and we look very much forward to be working with this committee. It's in the interest of Papua New Guinea that we attended here to answer your queries and find ways forward where committee finds that we have gone different ways. So thank you very much for the opportunity. Chairman, on that note, in order for us to comply with the directive given yesterday, Deputy Chairman and the members, I want to seek clarity on the practicality of coming back within the next 2 weeks. I can see that we need to go and get the trust deed in order, to put it in place, and we also would need amendments to, we can see some cross-referencing but not in order, and also we need to get authorities on who to be the signatories to the trust. That might take some time to talking to ministers or even cabinet. So my query is in relation to timing.
In yesterday's discussion, I announced that it's 30 days. But we proposed that if you could get it within the next 16 or 15 days, but 30 days maximum. Should be enough time.
Perhaps, if I may, so in terms of dates for setting up the instruments and the deed, I believe today is the 3rd. We're looking at the 17th, make it the 24th. So by the 24th of February, perhaps we can reconvene and you can give us a report. Is that feasible? That's a month. So if Parliament sits on the 10th of March, the chairman and the committee intends to present the report and action items that have been actioned on that occasion. So we are hoping perhaps the 24th and sometime before that, if you will permit, before the end of the month.
I think, Deputy Chair, that
31st?
we can work through it. We've taken note of your request. 30 days is okay. We will work around the 30 days. As you have said before, 24th, we'll work on it. I think Secretary of Finance and Treasury will administer the process for us because of the trustees process, amending the appropriation on reallocation processes within the FMS system. So that's something that they administer for us. So we'll give you a letter in writing on the processes before the 24th to explain the process has done so far, the progress on the accounts and all the other trust instruments that needs to be in place. So that will be part of our submissions to you. So what we can, on behalf of, as I have the mic, let me thank the chairman and the deputy chair and all our esteemed members for taking time to go to the provinces. I think it's the first time to see Public Accounts Committee. I'm not really sure, but the Public Accounts Committee to go all the way to the project sites, to visit the sites and really see the challenges on how we are actually constructing roads in some challenging parts of our country. And so that you could at least understand where are the challenges and how we are managing the contract. So on behalf of my management, my team, my deputy, 4 deputies, and the regional managers and all the works managers present, of all my staff across the establishment, we want to thank you for bringing us at this forum to hear us out as well, to see how we can fix the program for the benefit of our people, so that we can maximize the impact and touch the lives of our people. So that is very important, and I want to thank the esteemed members for taking time to talk to us and see where we can improve. And we are glad to work with you and find ways to solve this program for the benefit of people. At the same time, Chairman, through your office, if you can put together in writing all those documents that you have asked us to, finish, you can put it in writing so that we can compile each of those documents and prod it to you. I compiled documents, went through the audit committee when they were doing audit, almost 12 boxes full of documents. So I would suggest you would have time to sit down and look through it, because it's a big contract, documentations. So we just put together in writing, and we can see what we can and finish and advise the committee going forward. But with that, on behalf of my team and all our colleague departmental heads who made time to come and sit down, let me thank all of you for all your contributions in this discussion and inquiry. Thank you too much.
Hearing is already closed, so thank you very much again. We can retire.